Welcome to the channel. Today you join us as we have just completed a 4,000k round trip through country New South Wales, out to Mundy, 14 days, camping out of the car with the camper trailer. Look, we found a few things in the canopy that really don't work for us in its current setup, so we're going to completely rip it out and redo it, starting with a brand new flagship EnerDrive 12-volt system. So we've been sent this 12-volt system from EnerDrive. So what a better reason to do a canopy revamp to install this beast of a system. Now, we're going to unbox all this, but while we're unboxing, I'm going to have a chat to you about why we're doing a whole revamp. And you know, the canopy's working pretty good as it is, but why are we going to go to all that effort? Anyway, let's get started with the unboxing. So this is the 200 amp hour slimline battery. This is going to fit on the back wall, hopefully, of the canopy. Now, ooh. I had Andy tell me that I say, ooh, too much, so I'm going to try and say, ooh, less. Right. So we got all sorts of ports on the top, positive, negative, and obviously a mounting angle there to sit on the back wall, which is exactly where I want it to go. So this will work very well. This is the Voyager, the EnerDrive Voyager system. So what is this? Well, this is basically everything that's in the canopy now. The inverter, the DC to DC, the MPPT, the 240 charger. We actually haven't even got a 240 charger in this. The monitoring, everything that is in there in separate units is all in this one box. Now, there's a 3,000 watt inverter in this, which also charges 100 amps off 240 into your battery. So within 2 hours, that big 200 amp battery, if it was flat, will be fully charged if we're on shore power, which is very cool. Why are we doing this canopy revamp? Well, with this EnerDrive system, because of the width of it, it's actually not going to fit in where the fridge is currently. So we have to move the fridge down. To move the fridge, we're going to have to move the drawers. To move the drawers, we're going to have to move the pantry. So to get everything in, we're going to have to take all that stuff out anyway. And being that we're just back from Monday, we did find a lot of stuff that we just kind of weren't happy with. All we have to do is really just connect the alternator feed coming in and whatever outputs we want. So the fridges, the lights, the solar, and that's really it. So it's not a very big install, which is a first for us, because normally we're fighting with 12 volt for an entire weekend. So I guess it's one of those things, if you're not super comfortable with doing 12 volt yourself, this might be a really good option, because yeah, all the major wiring's done. There's nothing really else to do except just connect it up. I'm really struggling with this bubble wrap. So the other thing about the canopy is, like, the other side of it was a big empty space. Now when we traveled, it turned out that it was just a dumping ground. Everybody just chucked stuff in there, and it just ended up, you couldn't get anything. I couldn't get to my cameras. I couldn't get, like, there was toiletries in there. It was just a mess. And the shelf on top that I thought was really good, well, it might be good for some people. It doesn't suit what I want to do. It was just, the shelf really didn't get used that much at all. And it was empty, it took up space, and what was beneath it was messy. So the other side of the canopy, I want to look at putting drawers in and flush fitting it with the top of the fridge. So that I've got one big shelf, and underneath it I can put all my camera gear in the drawer so it's safe. The next drawer beside it might be, I don't know, tools maybe or something. And then on top of it I can put loose stuff. Let's have a look at this. Here is our unit. I'll see what other bits and bobs we have here, and let's go through it all. Right, here it is in its glory. It's a pretty cool looking unit. I actually, just first impressions, it's very solid and very well put together. The gaps look all even. I'm very excited about this unit actually. This is something that I've had my eye, well, not the Voyager because it's brand new, but I've been having my eye on these EnerDrive built systems for a long time. To have one in the flesh is pretty cool. All right, let's just go quickly through it because we are going to install this, and I'll go through all the workings of it later, but let's go through what's here. Underneath here is a fuse box. So nice and neat, out of the way, but still on the front panel, so easily accessible with my fat paws. Straight into there, which is very cool. Moving down, master on off. I presume, I haven't read the instructions yet, but I presume that's a master on off. Now, moving down here, Cymarine, this is the Pico monitoring system, so I can Bluetooth this to my phone and I can see what's going on my phone, but nonetheless we can see it all here. And I do believe this will do water tank monitoring too, but again, I've got to delve into all the specs of this. Inverter control panel, so this will turn the inverter on and off. It's a 3000 watt inverter with a 100 amp hour 240 charger, which is, as I said, very, very fast. 4 switches. It does come with stickers so you can put on each switch what it is. These I'm only going to probably use 2 of for the lights, because I'm going to run the fridges straight into I'm going to hardwire them inside the unit. A couple of RCDs, GPOs, sorry, RCDs. There is an RCD reset in here. Again, on the right side of the unit, so nice and easily accessible. This is at an angle, so when it's mounted on the canopy wall, it'll be really easy to see and really easy to get to. And underneath we've got an Anderson in, we've got more fuses, a couple of USB outs, another SIGGI out and a SIGGI out. So plenty of ins and outs. So what's going to happen is, as I said before, to get this in, it's going to replace everything I currently have on that wall, which I'm going to take out and show you the difference, what's in the box and everything we had to go through to make the other system like this. But to get this in, it won't fit where it currently is. So I'm going to take everything out of the canopy and start again. So that'll do us for this section. I'm going to put you onto a time lapse now while I rip everything out of the canopy. I'll stop when I'm at the 12 volt system at the wall. I'll come back to you and talk a little bit about what the two differences are. So that's the canopy emptied. So the next stage now is to rip the existing 12 volt out. But before I do that, I just thought we'd have a look at this. This is what's currently in here. So there's a 50 amp charger, inverter, battery, fuse box, GPOs, monitor, light switch, USBs, the remote for the inverter. So basically everything that's on that back wall is going to be replaced, apart from the battery obviously, because there will be another battery going over there, but everything else is in the Voyager box. Not that any of this is bad, it's not, but I think the EnerDrive, because it's all in one box and it's backed by a 5-year warranty and it all just works together, it's been professionally wired, but it's just something that is a no-brainer. It's a plug and play. All we have to do is bring in the feed from the alternator, bring in the feed from the solar and connect the battery up, and then lights and fridges and all that, but that's what you do anyway. It's super, super easy to do. Cannot wait to get it installed. With the Voyager, there is the 3000 watt inverter, which also has 100 amp hour charging. So we want to be able to plug it into shore power at every opportunity we can to fast charge the batteries back up to 100%. Now, we've been to the shop, we've got a Clipsal 15 amp plug, which will go onto the back wall here. That will plug straight into the input of the inverter. So when we get somewhere with shore power, we can, or even at home, we can just plug this in, and even from flat, because it's a 100 amp hour charger, it will charge the battery up in 2 hours, even if it's flat. Pretty cool. So Andy, being the Sparky, he's going to fit this for me. So you're going to see Andy at work. So what we've done, we've just mocked up where everything's sitting. So I'm actually stoked with how good this looks. So what we're doing now, Andy and J-Dog are going to help us put cables on. So we've got 95 millimeter squared cable, Coro, big lugs. We've had to bring in a big crimper. Basically what we're going to do is connect up the 2 battery terminal points, and we're going to take this cover off and connect up the battery into it. So actually what I'll do, hang on, I'm going to take the cover off and show you what I'm going to do. Let's get that front cover out of the way. So what we're looking at, I'll bring you in closer, but the cables are going to come in through this, there's a hole in the bottom right hand corner. Positive is coming into this lug and the negative onto the shunt at the top here. So I'll get this all wired up, but the first thing I think I have to do is actually properly fasten this to the back wall. So I'll do that first, and then we'll run the cables, connect the battery up, and we'll come back and see if it's going to work. So we're just putting well, you can see the size of these lugs on top of this, and we've got Andy right here. He's got the world's biggest crimper.
Oh, not the world's,
but there. It's big enough.
Oh. Bloody beautiful.
Let me take that out.
Mounted the Voyager and the battery. This is where they're going to live. We've run the cables down from the battery into the Voyager and connected it up. We've also run a 240 cable through a 15 amp plug at the back like a caravan inlet. And so we've charged the battery up. It only took like 20 minutes to come from 75% up to 100%. So everything is working. I have loosely connected these lights up just to one of the switches here. So what I'm going to do now, I've got to run the alternator cable in to the DC to DC and also the solar in to the DC to DC, which this is the solar. And then I've also just got to connect the rooftop tent power up to one of the loads in here as well. And then we can probably put the cover on, and that's pretty much it done. So I'm going to get busy with that. I will come back to you when we have everything done, and I'll run you through exactly how everything looks inside. We'll finally put the cover on, and that's the install done. It was super easy so far. Really impressed. So last night we knocked off a bit early. We went out for dinner. I've got up this morning and I've literally just finished off all the wiring, which was super easy. 4 cables into the DC to DC, 2 for solar, 2 for the alternator. That's a couple of lugs in it. It's done. Properly wired the lights in, hidden all the wires in behind, and I've got the tri-color switch just here behind the panel. So that's going to be nice and handy. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to tidy this unit up. I'm going to vacuum it. I'm going to put the cover on, and we're going to see how it all looks when it's all finished and in its place. And so that is everything installed. I'm super, super happy with this system. This is the provision for the fridge, and I've capped it off. I will get an Anderson for that today. Cool. Let's get our front panel on. So this is going to be so easy to work on if I ever have to take it apart. I don't know why I would, but if I do. I always get a bit of satisfaction from the old cover. Come on. There we go. Ready? Ooh. We got one more. Look at that. Love it. She's ready to go. She's ready to get out there and hit the tracks or hit the beach. Got to finish the canopy off first. That's next week's video. Got to think about what I want to do. But in the meantime, this is the EnerDrive Voyager system. So I've gone through the specs. We'll recap it one more time. So it's got the 40 plus DC to DC charger in there, which will do solar and the alternator. So it'll convert it into it's got an MPPT inside it. Then we've got the 3000 watt 100 amp charger when you've connected it to 240, paired with the BTEC Slimline EnerDrive 200 amp hour battery, all monitored by a Cymarine monitor panel on this side, which is Bluetooth ready. I've downloaded the app. I'll crank up the app and I'll show you that working now. And then also the inverter charger remote control, which is on the side here. We've got all our switches. We've got the 2 GPOs, Anderson, USB, Siggy. Everything's working, everything's installed, and everything was very easy. Lights, everything. So if you want to try one of these out for yourself, I'll leave a link below and jump over to EnerDrive and see if you can pick one up for yourself. They've got a whole raft of other systems there too if this one doesn't suit your needs. What I did mention about this too is this is the left-hand version. You do get one that can be compatible on the right-hand side of the canopy. It's just angled differently, or if your canopy allows it space-wise, you can actually mount one of these on the roof too. That being said, canopy next week, canopy fit out next week, kitchen, fridges, all that sort of razzmatazz, and then we get out in the tracks and we're going to give this some real-world testing, proper testing on the beach or on the bush, and we'll do some good reviews on what we think of it. So in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. If you do like this content, you want something more like this, please remember to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.